Good morning. This is Grateful Ed. Hope you're having a great day. It is a great day to be alive and be able to make this video. I want to talk about gang stalking today a little bit, but before I do that, I want to give a big thanks to everyone at higher levels who has given me the chance to voice my opinion and try to bring some balance into a situation that's been out of balance for way too long. Okay, so I want to talk about the gang stalking today. This gang stalking is real. It doesn't matter who you are or what your age is. It doesn't matter, if you're from the inner city or you're from the suburbs, or, you could be part of the affluent class by now. And, once you've been signaled out for whatever reason to be attacked, then they'll come attack your ass. And if you think that that's something that's made up, or it happens to the other person and can't happen to you, that's not true. I mean, no matter, how can I say it, no matter what you've done in life, up to a certain point, once they turn the switch on and come after you, it's a real thing. And I'm just saying that it doesn't matter if you're from the inner city, it doesn't matter if you're from the suburbs, it doesn't matter if you're affluent. Once they come after you, they're going to come after you. And, I hate to say it, but it's really true in my case about the family sellouts. They know a lot about your personal information, and then, if they've got the criminal element thief at heart, then they go after these things, and they have the connections to actually do that. Medical records, financial records, gossip in the innuendo, drive a wedge between you and the people that you love. Try to drive a wedge between you and your wife especially. Okay, that's a big one. And I'll talk more about that later. But keep in mind that these things are real. They want to take you out. They want to belittle you. They want to keep you from speaking your voice. They want to keep you from, being the best version of yourself that you can be. So, it's pretty low down and despicable, really, and it's evil when it comes down to it. But we're in the middle of a spiritual battle, okay? And I do believe that God wins in the end. That means the positive light will come through. And if you've been messing around with these things or got in too deep, messing around with the wrong people, there comes a time when all that comes around. It can be profitable for a certain amount of time, but this is not the time. This is the time to balance the books. But anyway, it's a real deal. So I want to talk about the criminal element in the neighborhood. Okay, and it's pretty apparent. It was pretty apparent to me, from excuse me, from my experiences. People moving in and out, and change of families, whatever. But the thing about it is, and let me say on my disclaimer, not all police are bad. We need police, and we need good, honest police in order to fight crime and keep the neighborhood safe. Okay, but on a couple occasions, and these are marked cars. Let me start with the marked police car. The marked police cars would meet up out in the circle, okay, and you'd have your black and white, and then you'd have your dark colored car, and then your light colored car. I don't know if there's anything to that or not, but that's what I observed. Anyway, they would meet up there and have the little meeting before they went over to the criminal element's house. And whatever became of that, I don't know. Basically nothing. Nothing yet, anyway. The other thing that was really interesting, there was a lot of, there was way too much traffic in the meadows, okay, around that circle. I'll say that, and I'll say it 100 times. I'll say it 1,000,000 times. Never, ever, ever in 50 years have been that much traffic around the circle, especially when they're stopping in front of your house and gang stalking you, working their psychological operations. Okay, so you got to watch out for that. Same way with the vendors and the trucks, that type of thing. You got to watch out for that when it comes to the business. But anyway, um, I'm not saying that that house was cursed, okay? I'm saying that it has a history behind. So it's going to be very interesting to see really what pans out from all the activities that have been going on. Okay. So this was, I don't know why I brought this up, but I'm going to bring it up, okay? There was one of my friends, frenemies, I suppose, new category for them. They brought up the point about they were pissed off, and this was during, I think it was during the lockdowns, maybe, I don't know. Either way, they were complaining about uh, people in Mason that had a clothesline. Okay. So the premise here is if you have a clothesline, you don't deserve to be in Mason. You don't deserve to live here. Okay. So, take that for what it's worth. But the story that I got from that was these are the folk that, these are the folk that live in the gated community. All right. So, you know, and I spoke yesterday about the systematic gang stalking, and I got more about, but that could be the mindset. The mindset of the class warfare. Hey, you don't belong in my city. You got to hang your clothes out to dry. What kind of shit is that? You done lost your mind when it comes to dealing with people and how you feel about people as individuals and human beings, if you're carrying around that kind of attitude. But I gotta say, from growing up here, it really doesn't surprise. So whether it was a local or a transplant, who knows? But I just thought I'd bring that up. So that's a good segue into, targeted justice is calling for the FBI, the DOJ, and the Department of Homeland Security to release a terrorist screening database, okay? Violation of federal law and the Constitution. So, it's going to be very interesting. I'm all for that because from my research, okay, I took a look at this, and, you got headquarters here in what's that, Mason, not Mason, Cincinnati and Dayton, okay? So, there is, in order to set up headquarters, you got to have some kind of infrastructure and systems in place, okay? And a budget to do that. The way I understand it is that they're paying these gang stalkers to go out and harass citizens, okay? Using psychological operations on them. I'd like to see that. I really would like to see that list of names and who got paid to run these operations. Like I say, they don't care. They don't give a shit if you're a senior citizen or a child. Okay. So it begs the question, what are they hiding? Besides their status in their community. So, when it comes to targeting, we had Joe Blystone come to Franklin. This was a couple years ago. And it was very interesting, very interesting, good exchange. It was a good meeting at the time. Okay. What happened to his campaign from that, I believe he ran into some difficulties. Okay. That's all I know. Thing about I want to say is that the thing was going real good, okay. And the meeting, it was a healthy exchange. I got up to ask a question, and then somebody got to come up and chime in, some kind of correction or some kind of something. So I took it for what it's worth. I got my question answered, and it was basically about the C word and the experience, being a farmer and what the experience that he had with that. So it's nothing new. But anyway, I don't want to go off on that. The thing is, once we got done the meeting and we did a little chit chat with him, found out he was a preacher too. So nothing against the church, nothing against the preachers. Don't get me wrong, but there's a trend in my life, and it's not a positive trend. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. Um, you know, when it comes to the swinging, the swing parties and how those are introduced, okay. Uh, I got a dear friend, I guess friend of me now, uh, really did her best to recruit my ex-wife Lourdes into the group, okay. So, bring out I forget what you call it, the male magazines, and, drop the hints, drop the dimes, when we're going to do this, all these things. And I advised my ex-wife, don't do it. But we did, okay. So, it's one of those things. I'm just saying that, don't forget. Don't forget about, spilling the beans about your little trips down south. And, coming back, and, this is before they charged for luggage, but it didn't make any difference because you had your own compartment. Okay, I'll put it that way. The thing about it, sis, is, and these are the things you're going to come to deal with, once your inner circle has then sold you out for whatever reason. It just crossed my mind. I never had a bad thought about you ever, a bad thought or whatever. Try to plan to, on your demise, take away your life, take away your livelihood, anything like that. So when it comes to that, it's time to reevaluate your priorities when it comes to, how you're treating people in my book. So, I pulled this out from last year. I think it's relevant. And I got a note here from Eric Holder in the DOJ. Okay, as far as these psychological operations, it's been going on for a long time, for ages and ages, right? But I guess the MO is to divide people by gender, by race, and class. Okay, I touch on the class part a lot because there was, growing up in Mason, it was all about the class, okay. The race was kept out, and everybody knows it. If they let the race in, they had to be out by sundown, okay. This is the 60s, okay. So I suppose the MO, according to these notes, is to reduce the person to a material thing based on their sex, based on their skin color, based on their class, etc. Okay, so you got your groups and class. Reduce the person to take away their soul. I spoke about that. That's part of the MO. So it's evil. It really is in my book. Okay, so these are the things you deal with, okay? And make no mistake, it happens more often than you really realize that it is, okay? So, thing about it is, you got to stand strong. You got to stand on your convictions, okay? Don't let them take you out. They want to take your life. They want to take your dignity. They want to separate you from the rest of uh, the community, if you will. They want to separate you from the community and isolate you. And with the gaslighting, that gaslighting, in my opinion, is meant to keep you ostracized and separated from the rest of the group. Like you did something wrong, okay? But when it comes to any of these folks ever being straight up or being able to deal with or talk about the things that they've done, their exposure. It's been my experiences, the more you got to hide, the more you build up this false narrative about yourself, and you got to run the attacks on other people. So that's something to keep in mind, but that's no excuse, that's no excuse whatsoever for the behavior, especially when you're, attacking children, attacking seniors, attacking anybody when it comes to that matter. So, again, with the Stubbs crime family, if you've been involved in that, I mean, let's just put it this way. By now, it's no secret, okay? Your secret ops have already been blown. So, what I'm looking at a long list of things like identity theft, bank fraud, insurance fraud. Okay. Let's see. Been poisoned a couple times. Okay. And so that's attempted murder. Directed energy weapons, when it comes from the government. Uh, I'm saying these are things you got to deal with. Illegal surveillance. I talked about the gang stalking. Talked about the gaslighting. Mortgage theft. There's something up with the transfer of property, and I spoke yesterday about systematic gang stalking in order to make money, get points. Also, just part of people are just mean spirited. What kind of spirit that they're walking, that they have to focus in their information and energy into trying to work a deal, to get somebody out of their house so they can move somebody in, or gain favor by someone with money to go in and get that property. There's something going on. So the hackers and hacking, it's a big deal. There's many things that I've talked about where they rob you, and then also can run the psychological operations in on the computer, basically to get you in debt and keep you in debt, basically. And it goes a lot farther than that. They can entice you to do things, or like I say, I've done things that are out of character, way out of character, but it was just I can't undo it. Okay, so the best thing I can do is talk about it, and hopefully other people can recognize it and not fall into the same traps, or not fall as deep. It could have been a lot worse. Let's just put it that way. For me, yeah, the gang stalking, like I say, never in 50 years has there been that much traffic around in the meadows. Okay. So, coordinated effort, and I know some people had to see it other than me. I know some of the elderlies on the block are within, vision. I know they had visits from the police department too. So, it may have been a wellness check, or it may have been a coordinated effort. I don't know. Either way, there was a lot of things going on, way too much for the time and the season and everything that was happening in my life, and also within the country and the world, to just sweep it under the rug. VA medical fraud, that's, how can I say it? It is. I've got a lot of good treatment from the VA, and then I've got a lot of shitty treatment. And the last time was about the shittiest in my mind. But these are the things that you have to deal with. So please understand that the gang stalking is real. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter about your socioeconomic. It doesn't matter what you've done in your past. I mean, it really doesn't. Other than they want to drag up all the bad things and try to bring that to the forefront of your mind. Don't let them hold you back. Don't let them manipulate you. Don't let them coerce and conceive you to do things that you do not feel are right, or that you don't want to do. Because in the end, you have to stand on your convictions and stand for what you feel is right. So that's all I got to say. Gang stalking is real, and it's part of in my opinion, it's part of a bigger operations to keep us um, stagnated and stymied and manipulated. And, this kind of evil has come to an end. So, thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless you. God bless America. And keep on keeping on.